haven't felt this good, very good this week, and I'm supposed to be back at work. But, of course, the country, at least the sane part of the United States, is outraged over what happened in Minneapolis yesterday when an unarmed woman was attempting to back her car out and leave, got attacked or confronted by some ICE agents, and she was shot dead, mob style, by one of them, and he's been identified by the Minneapolis Star Tribune as Jonathan Ross. And he, it notes here, he was dragged and injured by a fleeing driver in a separate incident. And that was last year. But obviously he was okay. But it didn't take long before, first of all, they took video of him and got this screenshot. And it didn't take long before the media was able to track down who this guy was. But that was like a mob hit. Totally unprovoked, totally unnecessary. It was murder. And what was even worse was old Kristi Noem of the Homeland Security, or whatever the hell she is, secretary, got up there and flat out lied about this incident. And Trump flat out lied about this incident, just completely made it up, like this guy was being run over, or he was injured, or this or that. They conflated what happened last year with what happened yesterday. That's obvious. It was a deliberate conflation. But that guy was not in any danger of being run over or harmed in any way. He just went there and shot her dead. And her name was, oh gosh, damn. Her last name was Good. And anyway, here we go. Can't even think of what it is. And anyway, New York Times says a little bit more. This is from Democratic Underground. And court records reveal details of ICE agents' previous dragging incident. The federal immigration agent who fatally shot a woman in her car this week was dragged about 100 yards to a different driver last year, in Minnesota last year, during an immigration operation. Interviews and court records show. The agent, who works for the Division of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, was treated for a gash on his forearm that required 20 stitches after the incident, for which the driver was convicted of assault last month. Now, the same agent is at the center of a growing backlash. Renee Good. I knew her middle name was Nicole. I couldn't think of her first name. Growing backlash in Minneapolis over the Trump administration's immigration enforcement efforts after he shot and killed Renee Good, 37, in the driver's seat of her car on Wednesday. And that was a hard video to watch. There's one, and it was hard enough to watch the killing, but then her wife was filmed later on, and she was, beyond grief, and the dog was there. Her kids were not there, fortunately, during that incident, during that murder. And then Kristi Noem, it says here that he had feared for his life during the encounter. He didn't fear for shit. He was strutting all around like a king rooster, as the video shows, after he went and murdered her. Checked it out, then just walked around like he was hot shit. Well, now the FBI has decided they're going to take over. So they're going to whitewash it and prevent state officials from going after this thug. And he belongs in prison for the rest of his life. But Trump wants to be able to get a chance to pardon him. That's what all that shit is. But just think, this is nothing but a Gestapo. You're not safe on the streets if any of these guys are around. You piss them off, that's it for you. And she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, I don't know if he's a J6er. They asked whether he was a J6er. That's a good question. But, and then it talked about that operation. And it says here, Newsweek goes into more detail. It says, during that operation last year, Ross got his arm stuck in the window of a vehicle as a driver tried to flee an immigration arrest. He was dragged roughly 100 yards down the street before breaking free. Prosecutors said Ross fired his taser during the struggle, striking the driver, but the shock failed to stop the vehicle. Well, this time it was a bullet. The agent, who was not formally identified in court documents, was transported to a hospital, and then he had a big cut requiring 20 stitches. And it said here he also needed 13 stitches on his left hand. So anyway, the driver of that car was convicted. But this woman, Renee Good, did not do anything wrong. She was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And damn these assholes that want to lie about it and say what we saw on those videos didn't happen. That he was really in fear for his life. He wasn't in fear of shit. So, anyway, I expect him to get pardoned by this asshole that we got in there in the White House. We really screwed up. This country is really fucked. And hopefully, things are going to roll in November. But this is bad. Nobody's safe. Nobody is freaking safe. And when you're caught in a damn bald-faced lie like Noam and Trump and that damn Vance, who went off his nut this morning about it, repeating the same damn lies, it's pretty bad. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.